Right, I tried twice to record this video on Clipchamp and it crashed. So I'm now using the free version of Bandicam. I can either use this or I can use the Apple, but let's go with Bandicam for now. Certainly is going to be under 10 minutes, so that's fine. We're learning about the Lambda function. Now at least my magnifying glass actually works. It wasn't working with Clipchamp. Lambda invoice amounts, sum invoice amounts times 1.15. What does that tell us? So down here, below that amount with all these invoices, I'm going to be adding them and then adding a 15% VAT. What the Lambda function does is, I could just use the normal function, but what the Lambda function does, there's the normal function below. What the Lambda function does is it creates a template for that particular function within this workbook. Okay, so what we're going to do here is let's firstly copy the Lambda function there, which I had worked out. You can ask ChatGPT to do it. If we go home here and we go to the right hand side there, we will see indeed there's my ChatGPT add-in, and I do pay for the Plus account. All right, so I've copied that. Let's copy it again just in case I didn't. Memory sometimes fails. So let's go here to, and I'm going to actually have to delete the previous ones. So let's go to Name Manager over here. I'm going to delete both of those because I'm teaching this again, thanks to Clipchamp. So delete and delete again. And then let's create a new one. And the new one is going to be called Total with VAT. And here's my Lambda function over there. All right, which I copied from there. So it simply says the invoice amounts, the sum of the invoice amounts times 15%. There we go. So there's my total with VAT, and it's been created. So I now have part of the whole list of functions in Excel. I've got another one which I created using Lambda, and it's total with VAT. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to select the entire range there. And once I've selected the entire range, it will create the total with VAT, because what it's done is it's used the Lambda template for the inputs. Got it? Okay, simple example, but now let's go to a far more complex example, one more appropriate for construction. There we go. So what we've got is the concrete cost calculator with wastage and VAT, the length of the area, the width, the depth of the area, the rate per cubic meters, the wastage at 10%, and the VAT at 10%. All right, so we're going to put the function down there. Let's first create the template using Lambda. All right, there it is. You can ask once again ChatGPT to create that, or you can do it yourself. Okay, it's simple: length, width, depth, rate, wastage, VAT, length times width times depth times rate times 1 plus wastage times 1 plus VAT. Right, got that? But let's go rather here to define name to a new one, and this one we're going to call concrete cost. Keep it one word, I would recommend. Let's put Lambda in here. There we go. So Lambda's in. All right, got it? But just remember, the concrete cost is B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, and B7. It's not B2 to B7. Be careful of that. So we're going to put the cost of the concrete, bearing those metrics in mind. Right? Equals concrete. How cool is that? There is my formula. Click, comma, click, comma, click, comma. I'm sure there's a shorter way of doing this. Click, comma, click, comma, click, and close brackets. There we go. And let's enter. So there's the total cost for those dimensions. But now let's create a data table to see perhaps if the rate changes and the depth changes. We only are allowed 2 axes. So let's go 0.1, 0.15, 0.2, and 0.25 on the depth. And let's go down here with the rate. So we're going to go 1200, 1250, 1300, 1350, 1400, and 1450. There we go. And we select that entire range over there, and we go to data over here, and we go to a what if analysis over there. And once we've chosen what if analysis, we to data table, and the row input cell, because the row is arranged as per the depth, we choose originally the depth metric. And then column input cell, because the column is really the rate, we choose the original rate metric, and there we go, the different permutations. At a depth of 0.2, at a rate of 1400, it is going to cost 12,751 as opposed to 9904. Pretty cool.